Hi, everybody. How are you? Welcome to Podcast 2, or Dos, for those of us learning Spanish. Yo aprindo español. Let's pretend like I didn't say that. I don't know that I can really cut these videos because it's really more of a voice thing. So I am definitely still learning. Hang in there with me, you guys. I also, these are my faceless ones, so I am more motivated to do it. I don't know if it's one of my subscribers. It feels so weird to say that. But one of them actually commented on my one and only podcast and said, I genuinely like your vibe. Keep going. And that just meant the world to me. Thank you so much to you. You really made my day when you made that comment. And you reminded me I need to keep going. So thank you. I'm here now because of you. I want to talk to you guys. I said I wanted to talk about food. I want to start talking about food. I don't feel like there's enough conversations going on about food. Like what is in our food, at this point, I don't even know what the F to eat anymore. It's like, what is considered processed? What is organic? What is pasture raised? What is Jell-O made of? Every time I do a deep dive, I find this stuff out, and I'm just like grossed out with myself, with us as a society. And if you don't hear a running theme in all of my videos about how disgusted I am by society, you're not paying attention. Also, I thought I could find my microphone. I don't know where my microphone is, and there's so much pollen in the air. I have this gross taste in my mouth. But what I'm not going to do is sit here whine and complain like a little baby biatch, okay? I'm going to get this done because God told me to. So, episode 2. Welcome to I Want to Talk About That with Amanda. I got a stain on it. Man, I don't have a backup. That was supposed to be a heart, those lips, they turned out really big, and then I was like, it's supposed to be comedy. I don't know. Do you guys think it's funny? Anyways, let me take a little sip of my drink. I'm drinking some Kirkland Signature Sparkling Water in lime, calorie-free, sodium-free, and sweetener-free. Ow, ow. I am absolutely living, you guys. Absolutely living. So I have some notes here, and the first thing I want to say is please do your own research. Don't even listen to me telling you what to do. Don't ever listen to somebody online or on YouTube or something telling you how to live your life. Okay, I'm just trying to give you information. This is information that I have come across throughout the years in many different forms of research, whether that be actual clinical studies or classes that I've taken on psychology, sociology. I have a bachelor's degree in business administration. I've been in many different sales jobs, and I've been in management jobs. I've been pretty all over the place. So I have a really good idea about how the world works and what you need to do as far as research. But again, I watch YouTube videos and I come on here and talk about it, on my YouTube. So this is YouTube, you guys. Don't take anything I say too seriously. This is me just bitching and complaining, really, with all this stuff I have in my head that I need somebody to listen to, or at least feel like I do. I'm also been posting these on my, I guess this is the same channel. Yeah, this is the Chosen One Consulting. Sorry, I have multiple channels and I'm having some problems with some of them. So I think I'm just going to stick with the 2 for now. So I do have some other videos on there you guys can check out where it talks more about, what I do day to day. So get ready with me. It talks some about my history, some of the trials and tribulations I've had to go through. And basically this whole thing is just about me trying to find myself and help motivate you to go find yourself. So don't just take what I say and run with it. Check it, go Google it, search it. And one thing I really had to learn was when I go find my information, who's benefiting? Let's take the example of the toothpaste commercials. 4 out of 5 dentists would recommend. Well, are those 4 out of 5 dentists on the board of that toothpaste? Do they get somehow some cash in their pocket for this selling? That would be like McDonald's comes out with a study that cheeseburgers are healthy. Come on, really? We really think that was an independent study done with reasonable people with morals and values and ethics? I think not. So, verify your sources, always watch everything, listen to everything, check both sides, never just get in the rabbit hole and only have the echo chamber of your own thoughts because your brain lies to you. Okay, you guys? Listen to me. I've paid thousands of dollars in therapy. Your brain lies to you all the time. And here's the trick. Here's the really cool thing, is that you can change that. Your brain only thinks what you tell it. So if you wake up and say, oh, it's Monday, it's going to be the worst day. Oh, it's raining, I'm going to have a terrible hair day. And you're all negative and all you're thinking is negative and you're talking about how the worst is going to happen. Well, guess what's going to happen? The worst is going to happen because that's the energy you're putting out. Those are the thoughts that you're having, and your thoughts create your world. So just something to think about, what you believe creates your thoughts create your world. So think about that. I also wanted to just touch a little bit on energy. Because as I talk about, how we treat animals in today's food and, what we do to them, I do want everybody to remember that everything has energy. And this is scientifically proven. So you can see videos of studies where they play harsh, heavy metal to plants. And you can see them actually die. And you can see the energy waves that the plants are giving off and the atmosphere around it. And then you can play the same kind of plants in the exact same environment, classical, uplifting, positive style, or considered positive, or speaking positive words, and you can actually see that plant thrive, and you can see on a scientific level those energy waves change. So there is energy in everything, and you have energy. Everything you consume has energy. Everything you touch has energy. But in 3D, it's when all that energy comes together, compact, and forms something like a couch, a phone. It's a physical something that you can hold in your hand. Money, it doesn't even have to be physical. It could be like societal approval and things like that. But we're really thinking about the overarching views here. So just remember that everything has energy. All animals have energy. All plants have energy. Inanimate and animate, non-living and living things all have energy. And you are just one big ball of energy, and you create what color you want that energy to be, how you want it to feel. Your energy walks into a room before you do. So just keep these things in mind. I'm not trying to lecture you guys. I don't feel like these things are talked about enough, and they're some of the best ways to help process information and be open to new ideas. So let's get started. So let's talk about food. I just ate some Wendy's because I'm not perfect. Okay, you guys? I'm trying not to eat meat. I'm still eating meat. I'm trying to lose weight, trying to actively lose weight. Okay. So I am on this health journey, and I want you to come along with me. And I would love to spark some conversation. Like, light up that comment section. If you have things you want me to talk about, if you're like, hey, that was not, that was real stupid what you said, fine. Okay. I can take criticism. I can't take being mean. So don't be mean to me. But I can take criticism. So maybe some helpful, positive thoughts about ways I can tweak things is fine. I also would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. If you've heard otherwise than what I say, please tell me. I mean, check me too. Like I said, you guys, this crap is coming from like YouTube, Instagram, but I also have backed up. I have a lot of education and a lot of real world professional experience. And I have really dug into documentaries and medical back studies. And I was in insurance, and I've really taken a liking to the medical field. I started nursing school and dropped out. So I don't know if that counts for anything. But anyway, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about, I guess I have this broken down into 3 different columns. Look at me. I haven't looked at my little cheat sheet. It's not little either. I haven't looked at this in forever, and I just made all these cute little notes. Let's hope I can read my handwriting, because that is usually a problem. So I have it broken down into 3 different columns. Sorry, I just saw it says food in all caps, and then under it says, what the F are we eating? Question mark. That's a good question, Amanda. Well, thank you, Amanda. All right, now I'm talking to myself. Don't Britney Spears me, okay, people? I'm all right. I'm okay. So I have it broken down into health, animals, and big food. Those are my 3 topics I'm going to cover today. And like I said, these are just starting conversations, and I am looking for information. I am an information gatherer. I love to get information. And if it's scientifically backed or research backed, then that's even better information. But check those resources and make sure that there's not somebody profiting off of them that really shouldn't be. I'm also going to try not to move this too much. I didn't want to be on camera, but I wasn't sure what to put on camera. So like I said, we're still working these things out. I got to get my editing skills better. Okay. Column number 1 are health. 40% of Americans are obese. All right. I should have reviewed these notes before. Oh, and on the back I have Big Pharma. That's going to be the next episode is going to be Big Pharma. Okay. Today we're talking about big food. So health. So yeah, a lot of us are overweight, myself included. I have struggled with being overweight. I came from a family where everybody was overweight, and we were very much victims to the American society and how they told us to eat, which was like absolute crap. So I want to talk to you guys about some of these things that you see on these labels, just so that you're more informed about what it is that you're buying, because what you put your money behind is what you support. And I don't say that like, if you disagree, you should, cancel somebody, or no, live your life. Like, you don't have to put people out of business because you disagree with them. But if you are supporting companies who are mistreating their products, their animals, their employees, then you are just putting your money to make it even worse. So why do that? Why not take that same money that you're going to spend and give it to somebody who's trying to make this crap better, So first thing I want to talk to you guys about is organic, because a lot of people don't understand what organic means. So you cannot put organic on a label. I think it's like the FDA police guys are going to come after you. Somebody's going to arrest you. I don't know. Fact check that. But what it really says, what they can't do is it just bans certain pesticides. So it basically says that this like strawberry did not have the, what's that one DEET? I don't know. Don't sue me. I don't know. This is all allegedly. Everything I say on this channel is allegedly. Roundup. There's somebody who got sued, and it turned out that they had some pretty bad stuff in there you really didn't want on your food. You didn't want to be ingesting it. And so stuff like that can't be sprayed or used around organic fruits and vegetables and products. So definitely buy organic. The problem is that it's so stinking expensive sometimes. It's like, really, is it worth it? Well, yes, sometimes there are. Oh, man. This is why I didn't want to record this on my phone, because I had things I needed to reference. Okay, well, you're going to have to do some Googling, guys. I can't do all the work here. I'm trying, you guys. Okay, so I want you to Google the Dirty Dozen, because there are 12 popular fruits and vegetables that are the highest in pesticides. So we're not really talking about dirt. Like most of these things come from the dirt. They're going to come with dirt on them. That's okay. Dirt's good for you. It has good things in it for you. Take advantage of the earth, not in a bad way or creepy way, or like, okay, let's move on. So it bans certain pesticides that you really don't want to be eating. I think strawberries are maybe number 1 or number 2, which are so sad. I love strawberries. But they're dirty. They have pesticides all over them because they're attractive to little bugs that want to eat them. So they have all the pesticides that you don't want. So always buy organic strawberries. Always, always, always. They're on the Dirty Dozen list. So things like that. Also, sometimes organic is not that much more expensive. It's maybe 50 cents or 60 cents more. And sometimes it is even cheaper. Like, I think celery, sometimes I will find organic is actually a little cheaper than the regular kind. So don't be of the opinion that just because it's organic, it's expensive. No, that's not true. And no, you don't have to buy organic, but you don't want to be ingesting like poisonous pesticides that you don't have to. Like, they can use things that are more all natural that aren't going to give you cancer down the line. So let's try that, Also, plastic. Like, I don't know that a lot of people understand this, but we use so much plastic. It is now showing up in our DNA. Like, there are medical and research level studies going on where they are taking DNA samples of human beings and children, and they are coming back with plastic inside of the DNA. So again, fact check it, but damn. Also, companies like was it Lululemon? Again, allegedly, I don't know, somebody's getting sued, I thought, because they had plastic in the crotch of their leggings, and women were starting to report cervical cancer. And, we have so much cancer now, and people are like, I ate the same thing I did when I was younger. I can eat it now. None of that shit's the same. Like, everything's now man-made in a factory with chemicals put all in it. That's not what you were eating a long time ago, and things weren't all stored in plastic. And if you think about it, like, our water is stored in plastic at the water plants. It is transferred to your house in plastic. You store it in your plastic water fridge. Your fridge is all made of plastic. What holds the water is made of plastic. The tube that comes out of it is made of plastic. If you got a Brita, that's all plastic. Your plates are plastic. Your Ziploc bags are plastic. You're cooking things in plastic. And when plastic heats up and it expands, it actually releases particles into whatever it is. So like, a rule of thumb is never drink a warm water bottle, because once that plastic becomes exposed to a certain temperature, it will start to release particles into the water, just like it can release it into your pants, just like it can release it into your Ziploc bags. Like they have the crock pot plastic liners. Don't use that. Don't. I am to the point where if it's plastic, I don't want it anymore. I've gone to all glass containers. I do have some plastic stuff that I will use. Like, let's say I have like a leftover apple, like a half an apple, or like some Cheez-Its, or I don't know, some crackers or something that, I'm not going to reheat necessarily. And I've already spent the money. I'm not trying to be wasteful. So I'm just going to let them kind of be my whatever containers. I've been using them for art projects or, just trying to repurpose them. Turns out they're really good for holding plastic hair clips and makeup full of plastic. But you guys, just start thinking about it. Like, just think about what all you come in contact with on a daily basis that you see the plastic, and then think about how it got to you and where is it stored and how is it made. They were coming back now and they're finding that like even some of the cheaper versions of rice have actual little plastic inside of them. They're using plastic as fillers in our food. So, stop. Just think about it. Also, one last fun little fact that I have realized lately, because I don't know if you guys like grilling season's coming up. And you get those nice char on your, nice fat piece of juicy chicken. And out the edge is all crispy and yummy and burned, or those burned edges on those. What are those things called? Burned? Do you guys have those? I'm in the South. I'm in North Carolina. What's it called? Burned ends? Burned ends. Yeah, where it's like the burned ends of like the briskets and things when they smoke them. That char, which is delicious, is the most carcinogenic thing that you can eat. And carcinogenic meaning that it carries properties that could potentially give you cancer. So anything that's burned, blackened, anything is cancer causing. So there goes a whole lot of that. So now when I grill and stuff, I'm really trying not to. And my sister made something and it had a big black chunk of something, and she was giving it to my nephew the other day, and I was like, don't give it to him. Like, it was a little dramatic, but I was like, don't give it to him. And the most carcinogenic food that we have in our food supply system is, guess, I'll give you 10 seconds because I have to remember the answer to this too. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drum roll, please. Deli meats, processed sausages, bologna, hot dogs, pepperonis. I mean, come on, the good stuff. The stuff like bacon, like the little things that are just like, you just eat a little bit and you get all that yummy, delicious flavor and you just know it's not good for you. It's all that shit. Yeah, it's all that stuff. You should not be eating any of that. And, think about it, guys. Like, you go to the deli and you get ham. They're just taking a big ham hock and cooking it and slicing it real thin. That's all they're doing. Except that that's what you used to be able to get at the grocery stores. That's how you would make it at home. But then some CEO got involved and decided their bottom line could save 0.069% ROI on this thing if we just, whatever it. And so then they just started packing all kinds of chemicals and preservatives to make it last longer so they could ship it farther and it wouldn't go bad before people got to it. And it's just become so disgusting and full of chemicals. It's not even food anymore. It's not even food. So I've been trying to do all that stuff myself. Like, I've been doing, is it Aldi? I think it's Aldi. And they have 2 turkey breasts. I don't know. I get it from a couple of different places. So I try to get I like Aldi because they have organic. They're a little more conscious about where they buy things from. So versus like Costco, no. Last time I got Costco meat, it looked like it had maggots on the inside. It was so full of bleach water, and I was just like, this doesn't even look like chicken. It grossed me out. I couldn't even eat it. Like I still have some chicken sitting. I'm like, I cannot bring myself to eat it. I just feel terrible for those chickens. So anyway, so when you're going to do the deli meat, like go to somewhere like an Aldi, get you like a big old chicken breast, like a frozen. I get a frozen, I guess there are 2 frozen turkey breasts, and then I smoke them. And smoking's not hard. I just have like a little plug-in Ninja, or you could grill them or cook them in the oven for a couple of hours on low or in a crock pot. And then you pull them out and then you just super thinly slice them, you guys, and you have lunch meat. Yeah, it's not going to last for a month. But guess what? It's not supposed to. And why are you eating crap like that anyways? If it sits out for a month, what was it? Panera, I think? Boy, I hope I don't get sued. This is all allegedly. Panera I got an apple from there one time, and I got lost on my desk at work, and I found it like a month later, and I had just recently gone and got another Panera apple. I went and got, broccoli cheddar soup, bacon turkey bravo, my jam, so good. And I was trying to be healthy, so I got me a little apple on the side, and that thing looked exactly like the brand new one did. And I was like, it has been sitting in this office for a month that's not very well temperature controlled in the middle of the summer, and it looks exactly the same, and I don't know if I trust it. So at that point, I stopped eating the apples from Panera. So, you guys, you be careful out there. Be careful out there. Also, Ozempic. Everybody's on these GLPs, and another person's getting sued. I believe allegedly his and hers. The people that is it Romans? I don't know. There are some of those subscription services. You guys, like, all that stuff is made in compound pharmacies. And what a compound pharmacy is that they don't have to follow the same restrictions as regular pharmacies. So you have like your regular pharmacy where you go, you drop off your prescription, you get your drugs, right? Compound pharmacies are specialty pharmacies. So they specialize in things you can't get at the regular pharmacy. So they're not held to as high of strict standards because they're supposed to be specialty, one-off, nuanced kind of stuff. They're not really regulated the way that the pharmacies are. Sorry, my foot is falling asleep here. Hold on, I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so they're getting these things, they're ordering them online, and they're coming in, and the stuff that's getting tested is not what it says it is, and they're putting all kinds of crap in there too. And so now I think somebody else is getting sued because they're like a third party for these companies that are ordering things and shipping them out to people. Also, the same thing with hair loss. Just a side note, one of them, it might have been Roma's, I don't know, it's one of those lines, allegedly. I saw somewhere that I believe that they're getting sued because they were sending hair loss products to young guys, like guys 18, 19, 20, and they were having all these heart problems and like side effects. And it was like, yeah, because they're too young to be taking that medicine. That medicine was, studied on 50 and 60-year-old balding men. So, everybody has access to all this stuff now, and we just don't have regulations here in America like other countries do. And so it really does, the burden falls back on the consumer to have to go and do their research. So that's why I'm trying to bring some of this information to you, because this is research that I've done and that I've learned along the way. Oh my gosh, my leg is like, I should have picked a better position. That's okay. We're going to get through this. Oh, I did have a couple of videos I wanted to show you. Okay, so there was one video where I saw they were talking about how they're starting to put vaccines into our lettuce and tomatoes, and that there's no difference. Like, there's no label that tells you, oh, this is one that's got stuff put in it and this is not. So that was one thing I heard. I think I saw somewhere it was like a congressional hearing, so I'm pretty sure that was happening there. And then also in our water supply, they are putting hormone blockers and estrogen to make our men weak so that they don't want to get up and fight or reproduce and have babies. They're trying to keep us all, hooked up to video games and computers and TVs, just like in the Matrix. That way we don't think and talk for ourselves and, communicate with each other and stand up against people. If we're all separated and staring at a screen, nobody's talking to each other or questioning things. So there you go. Think about that. All right, next column. Oh, animals. Okay. So animals. So the stuff I want to talk to you guys today is a little bit about animals. I'm not going to be like, I'm not PETA. I'm not trying to guilt people. I hate it when like the SPCA commercials come on, or, it's like some of us can't do anything about it, and just reminding us that there's all these terrible things out in the world aren't making it any better for me. So I do want to talk a little bit just so that you are a little more informed about what the labels are and how some of these things, I didn't even realize what I was eating. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about was pasture raised versus cage free. And I want to make sure I get this right. So if it is pasture raised, so we're obviously talking about chickens here, most likely, but I think this also can go to pasture raised beef. So if it's pasture raised, and I looked this up for chicken, it's 108 square feet per bird. So they have to have room to roam freely and forage, and they have to have a safe house at night that keeps them away from predators. Cage-free means that they are indoors only. It does not mean that they get to see light. Cage-free means that they are indoors. They are just not held in cages. And then there's standard, which is where they give those little chickens like absolutely no room to walk around. They're not exposed to any outside fresh air, fresh anything. They basically grow them in a tent, keep them in a tent, and then slaughter them. And it's really sad. If we're going to be killing animals, at least let them like roam free and eat grass and feel sunshine. And, like we don't have to be assholes too. So that was one thing I have been really trying to get pasture raised eggs. Now, with this economy and inflation, I've noticed the pasture raised eggs I used to pay $6, $7 a dozen are now $12 a dozen. And they are getting out of my price range. And it's making me really upset because I want to buy pasture raised eggs. I don't want to buy cheap meat. I don't want to buy cheap eggs. I want to support the people that I want to support, but their costs are going up so much that they're pricing themselves out of the market. And it's really sad for me to see. The next best one I've been getting is, I think, organic promises. What is that? Simply Organic, something like that. One of them has a cage free, but still I don't feel great. So I've been seeing, I have a friend that has a coworker that brings in eggs. So I've been getting my eggs there. My sister has a neighbor that has eggs, and there's some people in my neighborhood that sell eggs. So I've been really trying to like get eggs off the street, if you will. Street eggs. Hey, I'm buying illegal eggs. Or is it illegal? Oh my gosh, I do not want to go to jail, you guys. I did not do that, sir. I did not. Okay, anyway, so be careful about what you're reading. So like, grass fed, those animals don't always have to be grass fed throughout their whole lives. They can be fed crap and then grass fed at the very end of their life, right before they get processed and killed. And then they can call them grass fed. So you have to be careful. You have to make sure that you're, if you want to eat meat, really go to like your local farms, go to your local butcher market. Don't stay away from the big stores like the Walmarts, oh my gosh, that is cheap meat. And they import that meat from overseas, and overseas they do not even have our most sad, the least amount of conditions that we'll accept for how we treat animals is like the best over there sometimes. I'm not talking everywhere, but they don't have the same kind of restrictions that we do. So when you order, or when, let's say, the Walmarts of the world, allegedly, when they order meat from, let's say, China, they're having to follow China's protocols over there, not America's. So then they get the meat to America, and then they kill it in our factories and sell it as American beef, but it's not. It was beef that was raised in China and subject to how they treat animals. And again, you guys, all this stuff is energy. So if an animal wasn't treated well, and wasn't fed well, and didn't have light and sunshine, and couldn't feel the grass and run around and experience life and joy, is that something you want to be ingesting? I think about dairy, and dairy is a really hard one for me because it's something that, who doesn't love cheese? Everybody loves cheese. But when you think about the life process of a dairy cow, it is so sad. I'm going to give you the quick version. I don't want you to cry or anything. I'm just going to give you quick and dirty, and then we're going to move on, okay? So if you think about a dairy cow, it's a calf that's born. And if it's a female, it is raised to produce milk. Well, the only way you can produce milk is any human, animal, anything, you have to get pregnant. So they rape these animals to get them pregnant so that they can take their calves from them. And then they can hook them up to metal bars and suction cups and keep them in these horrible conditions and milk them. And then they take their baby, and if it's a male, then they raise him to rape other females and then kill him and sell him. And if it's a female, she is raped to produce more of the same, and the cycle continues. And also what I didn't know was that putting in Jell-O, the way that they get their consistency is from the stomach of a calf. So you have to kill the calf, and that calf is a baby cow. And then you have to take that stomach, dry it out, form it into a powder, and then stick it in Jell-O and call it pudding. Yeah, you guys, it's kind of gross. I was looking up the ethics of that, and I was like, do they actually kill the cows? And it said, no, they just take the cows that are already dead because that is, what is it? Is it not filet mignon? What's the one? I didn't know that lamb was a baby sheep. I didn't know that. Lamb is a sheep that is less than a year old. So when you're eating lamb, you're eating baby. Oh, it's veal. I think it's a veal is a baby cow. So if you're eating veal, you're eating a cow baby that's less than a year old. And you guys, I don't want to sit here and that's about the worst that it's going to get here. I'm not trying to be like, oh, don't do this or do that. I'm just saying, be cautious about where you get these things from. Treat your animals with respect, and we shouldn't be eating things that have horrible, miserable lives and then thinking that they're going to nourish our bodies. You are what you eat. And if what you eat eats crap and lives a sad life, then you're putting that into your body. And I think about it. I was talking to my mom the other day, and we were having kind of this similar conversation. It just wasn't one-sided. And she was like, well, you eat meat and we eat meat. And I'm like, yeah, but when I think about it, when the Native Americans ate meat, they didn't eat, I'm going to have bacon for breakfast, and then I'm going to have a ham and turkey and club sandwich, and then I'm going to stuff a duck inside of a turkey inside of a this and call it a turd. Like, some of the stuff we do is disgusting, you guys. And I'm like, they would go out and they would praise God. They would ask God for a blessing. They would hunt. They would respect the animals. They would kindly and, what's the word? They would sacrifice them, but with as little pain as necessary. What is the word? I'm blanking. You know exactly what it is. You're probably saying it right now. It's a nice way to kill animals. Like, if you're going to kill it, you can do it in a nice way where it experiences the least amount of pain as possible. And then they respected the animal, and they used every part of it, and they integrated it, and they used it for their cookware and their clothing and medicinal purposes. And we just didn't treat them like the barbarians that we are now. And, a lot of people will say, well, they're just animals. Well, that's true, but we're not. We're human beings, and we know exactly what we're doing. They don't know. They don't have control. They're the innocents in this situation. We're farming them and raising them to rape them, slaughter, and kill them. We don't have to be assholes about it, too. And some things you can do is you can start shopping locally and stop spending your money at these big stores that are just making money off of you and making money off of these animals. And what are you getting? You're getting cheap, crappy meat that had a cheap, crappy life, and that's what you're feeding your kids. I don't, try to get stuff that's like local. Go to the farms, go to your local butcher markets. There are farms that sell half cows. Some families will go in on those and, get a big freezer and eat on it for a year. Like, there are ways to get around having to buy everything at the grocery store. So just think about that, when you guys are out there and you're getting meat. And the other thing you have to worry about now is it even real meat? I saw something else recently too, allegedly, that the Bill Gates lab meat is now being approved. And so there's already lab meat being grown. It's where they actually grow the meat in the lab. So they take like DNA from an actual steak and they somehow clone it and create a steak out of that, like one little molecule. So it's lab grown meat. It's not actual meat. So they got fake meat, you got cheap meat, and it's just like, I just have stopped eating so much meat. I really have. I still eat meat. Like I said, I'm trying to be vegetarian, but I don't know if I'm ever going to be full, but I'm really trying not to. And there was a point in my life where I was like, how could you not have meat? Like, I'm just not satisfied. And well, that was a lie, because you know what? Your brain lies to you. You know who else lies to you? Big food corporations that make money off of you. So that's my last column here is big food. I was listening to something. It was a conspiracy theory on Instagram, I think. And it was like, for as much meat as people eat, think about it. There's like chicken, there's steak, there's pigs. Like, people eat all kinds of stuff, right? Where's all the animals? And I know you're like, well, they're in warehouses. Where are all the warehouses? Where's all the farms? Because just in like my state alone, there would have to be miles and miles and miles of farmland with animals that you can probably see, or at least see the structures of where we terribly house them and treat them. Where's all the animals? And you can also do a quick little Google search. Allegedly, McDonald's has started testing positive for DNA in their meat. Allegedly. How the F is DNA? Human DNA getting in ground meat? I don't know. Allegedly, you guys, allegedly. I don't know how much I believe all this stuff I see and read. Like, you have to be smart about it and realize that there's AI, there's trolls, there's people out here just trying to do the devil's work and trying to put out evil energy and trying to create chaos because they're too bored and broken to go fix their own lives and, try to walk one with God. So, there are people out there purposely trying to confuse you. There are corporations purposely trying to put stuff in your food to make you overeat. They're now, I think, the number one, I don't know if it's number one most recently, but like the number one top priority of a lot of the chip companies and the snack companies and the chocolate companies is that they're trying to find something now that they can add to the food that will actually counteract Ozempic and GLP-1 medications. So not only did they make it so addictive the first time around that you got addicted and then had to go on the medicine that has very high, people do die from this stuff. There's women that have starved to death now. People have their colons completely frozen and have to shit in a bag for the rest of their life. There are consequences to just taking random medicine, you guys. There is always that one person who gets sick and dies. That's just the way the world works. It's always a risk. So they make us sick. And then we have to, go and take these dangerous drugs to get better. And then they're going to put more stuff in there because they want us to get sick again. And why do they want us to get sick? So that we end up in the hospital paying the hospital bed bills and that we die before we ever make it to Social Security. And along the way, we buy every single thing we can to make them richer. You're welcome. I just thought you should know that. Also, like the cleanup and the waste, the amount of packaging, the atmosphere, this crap they're putting into the atmosphere. Think about how bad for the environment the way we treat animals is. And there's even goats can eat grass. You don't have to have lawnmowers. There's a company here in North Carolina that they actually have goats that go around and eat grass. They don't have lawnmowers. They don't have landscapers. They have goats, go get some goats, I've already touched on like Walmart, Costco, those kind of companies. Look, there's a place for everything, but I do think at some point companies get too big and it becomes about the bottom line. And then they hire these CEOs and they're all about money and they stop being about people and even like morals and ethics and values. And I don't care how big of a company you are, you should never stop caring about people. Like Google, why don't you have a customer service department? You get locked out of your email, you're just screwed. What the heck, Facebook? I've been trying to change my password for 2 years now. 10 hackers can do it, but let me try to get a hold. Let me just stop. Big companies in general. big companies in general on my list or my shit list. And then that other thing is, it starts to get political because these big companies, like these big food companies, you think that like you go to this grocery store, it's owned by this company. And if you buy this brand of potato chips, it's owned by this one. And if you get this soda, it's owned by this one. Joke's on you. Turns out there's really only like 2 or 3 big companies in the entire world. They just have so many different lines and they've bought up every other company and all the other competition that you just think that it's all these different companies, but they're all ultimately run by the same person. So you really don't have any choice in anything. Your choice is evil 1 or evil 2, where's just like the good farmer trying to get by? And they're taking money out from all these little guys. So these mom and pops are trying to have, America was made on small business. We should be focusing on small business. You can't get ahead and they don't respect people. They don't, these people are criminals for what they do. They're trying to get into our politics. They're lobbying, meaning that they're allowed to spend money to try to get politicians to do things for them. So they can go schmooze these politicians that will then turn around and vote for them to be able to do things. So like, why is our food political? It's right or wrong. It's clean or it's dirty. Like, I just don't understand why we're not doing more about it. And I do think that part of that is because of society and how they really want us focusing on certain things and not. Like, I thought it was interesting, Serena Williams, I saw somewhere she was mentioned, some lady was talking about how Serena Williams went on to a talk show and had absolutely nothing to talk about other than her GLP-1. And it's like, you're an athlete, you're out here, you got all these little little girls looking up to you, women, I'm pretty sure she's Olympic, like she is it, like she's somebody to aspire to, and she's out here hawking GLP-1s. Like, really, people? Like, let's be a little more responsible with the messaging that we're putting out here. So anyway, so those were kind of my big sticking points. Like I said, I want to spark conversations. I want to have more conversations. I would love to get to the point where I could maybe have like conversations with other people who have other ideas or questions or want to debate. I don't know. I'm not big on debate. I don't like to argue just to argue, but I love to hear other people's points of views because I don't think that I know everything, and you can't learn if you're not open to hearing somebody else's point of view. So that's food podcast number 2 in the books, people. I'm so excited. So yeah, I think I want to do a big pharma. There's a whole bunch of crap. I just have so many things I want to talk to you guys about. And I'm trying to do it in a way that isn't too overbearing for me to where these things start to become like a job. This is really more my therapy. Like I said, if I hit a big grade, if I don't, that's okay too. God is going to catch me. He's got big things planned for me. I am not worried at all about anything other than how to find ways to express my creativity and how to get all of this stuff inside of me that I've stuffed down for so long because I didn't think I had the confidence to say it, or I wasn't sure how to say it, or I wasn't even sure what I even believed in to begin with. finding my confidence, finding God, finding myself is allowing me to speak up for the things that I really truly believe in. And I think that's such a blessing. And I've talked about it a couple of times on my YouTube channels, where I say, like, I'm having these profound moments where I forget that the person I'm making these videos for is me, and it catches me off guard, because sometimes I'm just having a bad day and I scroll through and I see a video of something I did, and it's like, no views, 1 view. It's okay, because I watched it and like it meant so much to me. So find something that means something to you and go after it, but don't do it for results. Just do it for you. And if it's right, it's going to be the right thing. And if not, God's going to find something else to, help you along your way. So, God bless you. I hope that you all have enjoyed this podcast. I'm going to be back with some more. Check out my other videos. Ooh, I just did a Chili's Nashville hot cheese stick. Oh, I have been thinking about going back for days now. I'm just trying to decide. I'm trying to lose weight, like I said, but it's meatless. So there's that. Okay, you guys. Well, I love you. I will talk to you soon. And that was podcast episode number 2 about food and how we treat our animals from I Want to Talk About That with Amanda. Excuse the stain.